Lions Nation, gather around because we've got some thrilling takeaways from our preseason showdown with the Kansas City Chiefs. This wasn't just another preseason game. This was an all-out battle until the final whistle, and we emerged victorious. But beyond the scoreboard, it's all about growth, preparation, and setting the tone for the regular season. Let's dive into what really matters. If you are as passionate about the Lions as I am, be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the news and analysis about the team. Here, we discuss everything from the thrilling wins to the areas that need tweaking, always with that touch of true fan opinion. Don't miss any content, subscribe, and turn on notifications to follow every step of our journey this season. Come on, Lions! First up, let's talk wide receivers. The battle for the X-receiver spot is still wide open, and it's getting intense. The Lions have been searching for the right player to fill that gap left by Reynolds, and the competition is fierce. But here's the surprise. Siad Vaki, a safety-turned running back, is making waves as a serious weapon in our passing game. After an impressive debut against the Giants, Vaki kept the momentum going against the Chiefs, racking up 60 receiving yards on 4 catches. He even carried that crucial drive at the end of the first half. The question now is, where does he fit? With Gibbs and Montgomery ahead of him in the backfield, Vaki is showing that he needs to be on the field, but how will the Lions use him? Isaiah Williams also had a standout performance, hauling in 6 passes for 71 yards. He had a roller coaster day on special teams, fumbling a punt return but later redeeming himself with a fantastic return that set up the game-winning field goal. However, Williams is more of a slot receiver, and with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalif Raymond already holding it down, can the Lions afford to keep a third slot receiver when we're so thin on the outside? That's the big question. Speaking of outside receivers, it's been a mixed bag. Caden Davis had the play of the game with a 61-yard catch and run, but let's be honest, that was against some shaky preseason defense. Donovan Peoples-Jones chipped in with a solid block that sprung Davis, but he struggled to get separation most of the game. And Darce Fountain, after shining in camp, he's been pretty quiet. So where does that leave us? Vaki is shining as a pass catcher, but he's more of a backfield threat. Williams deserves a spot on the roster, but he won't solve our outside receiver problem. It's looking more and more like the Lions might need to rethink their approach to replacing Reynolds. Now let's shift gears to the quarterback situation. Nate Sudfeld showed some improvement against the Chiefs, but let's be real, Hendon Hooker should be the Lions' backup QB. Sudfeld had his moments, like that 61-yard pass to Davis, but he also threw a bad interception. Hooker, on the other hand, came in during the second half and looked sharp, completing 12 of 15 passes for 150 yards and even scoring a rushing touchdown. Sure, he's still learning, and he had a fumbled exchange late in the game, but the offense just feels more dynamic when he's in control. If Jared Goff were to go down, Hooker is the guy who should step in. He's still green, but his energy and playmaking ability give the Lions a better chance to keep the offense moving. And let's give Hooker some props for pulling off a perfect quarterback slide. We don't always see that from rookies. Shout out to the backup secondary as well. The Chiefs had their first-string offense out there, including Patrick Mahomes, but they only managed to put up 2 field goals. Sure, they scored a touchdown later with Carson Wentz, but that came after a short field thanks to a fumbled kickoff. Overall, our backup secondary, guys like Amick Robertson, Kendall Vilder, and Khalil Dorsey, held their own. Once Mahomes was out, Wentz only threw for 31 yards. Brandon Joseph stood out again with 5 tackles and a forced fumble. Considering our secondary was a weak spot last season, it's great to see these depth players stepping up. It's a good sign that this unit could be a strength heading into 2024. And let's not forget about a couple of defensive standouts, Mitchell Aguiud and Ty Summers. Aguiud, battling for a spot at defensive end, made some crucial plays, like sniffing out screens and holding the edge, even though he didn't record a sack. Keep an eye on him as he fights for a roster spot. As for Ty Summers, this guy was signed less than a week ago and already looked like he belonged. With Malik Jefferson injured, Summers has a real shot to make this team as a depth linebacker. Finally, let's talk about Jake Bate. He's currently the Lions' only kicker, and he had a solid day, going 4 for 4 on field goals, including a game-winning 43-yarder. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. He missed an extra point, which is concerning. Consistency is going to be key for Bate moving forward. He's got the leg strength, but he needs to make sure he's nailing those routine kicks if he wants to stick around in the NFL. All right, Lions fans, now it's your turn. What do you think about Vaki's emergence? Should Hendon Hooker be our backup quarterback? And are you concerned about our receiver depth as we head into the regular season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. As a Lions fan, I'm excited but also a little apprehensive about what we've seen so far. The victory over the Chiefs was exciting without a doubt and showed that our team has determination, but it also highlighted some areas that still need attention. First, I can't stress enough how impressed I am with Vaki. He is proving to be a real wild card, capable of contributing both on the ground and in the air. Seeing a safety-turned running back excel like he has is inspiring. However, I wonder how exactly the team will fit him into the scheme, especially with Gibbs and Montgomery already established in the backfield. I think the coaches have an interesting challenge on their hands to maximize Vaki's potential without compromising the fluidity of the attack. As for the wide receivers, I'm a little worried. Of course, Isaiah Williams and Caden Davis have shown they can make big plays, but the question of consistency and the X-receiver position is still up in the air. We don't have a clear replacement for Reynolds, and with the season approaching, that leaves me with a flea behind my ear. Will we need to look for someone else in the market or trust one of our current guys to step forward? Now, talking about the quarterback position, I'm all in favor of giving Hendon Hooker more chances. The guy showed that he has talent and that he can bring new energy to the attack. Yes, he's still inexperienced, but I see potential in him that Sudfeld just isn't reaching. If something happens to Goff, I would feel more confident with Hooker at the helm, even with the risks that come with his youth. And, of course, we can't ignore the work of our backup secondary. Holding an offense like the Chiefs, even in a preseason game, is something that should not be underestimated. This gives me hope that our defense, especially the secondary, will be a strong point this year, something we couldn't say last season.